Hello everyone, you're watching Awaz News. I'm Kubra Ali and I'll be taking you through top news across Canada. Man and two teens arrested after home invasion attempts, shots fired, police. Toronto man allegedly sexually assaulted person he met on dating app who blocked him after they meet up. Brampton house sold at $640,000 lost 2 years after purchased. Shooting in Vaughan could be connected to 3 shootings in Toronto, York Regional Police. Canada not getting behind premise of South Africa's genocide case against Israel. GTA under winter weather travel advisory. Here is when the snow could start falling. Canada's Chief of the Defence Staff, General Wayne Eyre, plans to retire this summer. These were the headlines. Now let's jump right into the details. A 24-year-old man is accused of sexually assaulting a person he met through a dating app after being blocked following their initial meetup. Toronto police said the man matched with the victim on an app on December 22nd and they, along with the victim's friend, subsequently met in person. After that, police said the victim blocked the man from further communication that allegedly prompted the man to use the alias Chris to persuade the victim to link up again. Police said the two met on Christmas Day in the area of Beverly Street and Dundas Street West. During the meeting, the man allegedly sexually assaulted the victim. The suspect, 24-year-old Bisehi Laundry Olivia Sehi, 24, of Toronto, has been arrested and charged with 3 counts of sexual assault, 2 counts of assault, and 1 count of forcible confinement. Police ask anyone with the information to contact them at 416-808-2200 or Crime Stoppers anonymously. General Wayne Eyre is planning to retire as Canada's Chief of the Defence Staff this summer, he said in a statement to military members Friday. Eyre took on the role in an acting capacity in February 2021 when the Canadian Armed Forces was dealing with sexual misconduct scandals involving several senior leaders. He was officially appointed Canada's Defence Chief in November that year. The last 3 years have brought multiple crises and challenges and an unrelenting demand for military support, said Eyre, noting that he informed the government about his plans last summer and proposed a transition plan. During his 40-year career, Eyre was deployed to Cyprus, Croatia, Bosnia, and Afghanistan and led several domestic missions, including as commander of the army. As defense chief, he was tasked with leading efforts to change the culture of the armed forces after an independent review found it to be toxic and rife with sexual misconduct. In a statement, the Prime Minister's office said Eyre helped stabilize the Canadian Armed Forces during a period of turmoil and led the institution responding to the many security crises and challenges facing our country and the world. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and Defense Minister Bill Blair both also thanked Eyre for his service. The Prime Minister's office said a selection process will begin to find his replacement and that Eyre will remain in the role for a transition period. No further details on that process were released Friday. Rest assured that my foot will not come off the gas until my last day as your CDS, Eyre said. It has been and continues to be an honor to lead the Canadian Armed Forces. A Brampton house that just sold at a $640,000 loss after it was listed a handful of times speaks to the state of the market in the outskirts of Toronto, real estate experts say. The detached 2-story house located at 27 Jacksonville Drive sold for $1.7 million on January 5th. The house sold for $2.3 million 2 years earlier in January 2022. At the time, prices were completely out of control and in many cases highly artificial, Toronto real estate agent Desmond Brown said, describing super low rates available in the first years of pandemic. We always knew that when prices were going crazy during COVID and post-COVID, that the outlying area of Toronto would suffer the most when things settled down or when there was a turnaround, Brown said. While the Jacksonville property sold at a major loss, Brown said the drop wasn't as steep as overall market in Brampton. The average price of a detached home in Brampton dropped 30% between January 2022 and December 2023, Brown said. By comparison, the Jacksonville house decreased in value by 25% in the same time period. Canada fully supports the International Court of Justice, but that doesn't mean it supports the premise of South Africa's genocide case against Israel, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau said Friday. On Thursday, South Africa launched a case at the top United Nations court arguing Israel's bombardment of Gaza and siege on the Palestinians who live there are genocidal in character. Israel, a Jewish state founded in the aftermath of Holocaust, has vehemently denied the allegations and took the rare step of engaging with the court to defend its international reputation. Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly said in a written statement Friday afternoon that there is a high legal threshold for proving claims of genocide. Neither Trudeau nor Joly were specific about what Canada will do if the International Court of Justice were to rule in favor of South Africa's claims, but Joly warned the case could provoke anti-Semitic acts. Trudeau said Canada is continuing to follow the South Africa case closely. In a statement following Trudeau's remarks, Joly noted that the 1948 Genocide Convention defines the crime as intending to destroy a group in whole or in part because of their nationality, ethnicity, race, or religion. South Africa has asked the International Court to order Israel to halt its attacks, which began after Hamas militants killed 1,200 people in Israel and took about 240 people, including some children, hostage on October 7th. Israel responded with airstrikes and by restricting access to crucial supplies in the Hamas-controlled territory, where local authorities say more than 23,200 Palestinians have been killed. About 100 hostages were released by Hamas during a temporary ceasefire in November, which ended when Israel accused Hamas of firing a rocket of Israel and breaking the ceasefire terms to release all the female hostages. The United States issued a statement Wednesday that, like Canada, backs the vital role the International Court of Justice plays, but it went much further than Canada on this particular case, calling the claims Israel is committing genocide unfounded. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said Tuesday the case is meritless. When asked if Canada would support the International Court if it sides with South Africa, Trudeau said he supports the court's important and rigorous work. The National Council of Canadian Muslims said it was beyond disappointed with Trudeau's response, arguing it fell short of supporting the principles of humanitarianism and accountability. The Center for Israel and Jewish Affairs said it was glad to see Trudeau's initial statement, but had hoped Joly would have clearly rejected the libelous genocide allegations against Israel. France has publicly said it would support the court's decision. The federal New Democrats had urged Canada to also take the stance and not intervene in opposition to the case. Members of Trudeau's Liberal caucus have expressed a range of opinions on the issue, with some siding with South Africa and others with Israel. Ahead of Trudeau's Friday news conference, official opposition leader Pierre Poilievre accused the Prime Minister of playing to both sides of the issue. Poilievre said the case brought by South Africa is shamelessly and dishonestly attacking the Jewish people and the Jewish state. A man and two teenagers have been charged by police after two armed home invasion attempts early this month. Police said that they responded to a call for a break and enter in the South Kingsway and Queensway area around 3:40 a.m. on January 8. Police said that the suspects allegedly entered the home after smashing a rear glass door connected to the kitchen. When inside, the suspects threatened the homeowners with a firearm before fleeing the scene when a person inside their house called police. Shortly afterwards, at approximately 4:07 a.m., police say they responded to a second call nearby in the Royal York Road and the Queensway area. Police alleged that the suspects discharged one of the firearms after being confronted by a homeowner and then fled the scene. Three suspects were arrested a few days later in the connection with the incident. A 16-year-old from Mississauga and a 15-year-old from Brampton, who cannot be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act YCJA, are facing more than a dozen charges, including robbery with a firearm, mischief, and damage to property under $5,000 and uttering threats. The third suspect, identified only as a 19-year-old man from Brampton, is also facing 21 charges, including robbery with a weapon disguised with intent, forcible confinement, and use of firearm during the commission of an indictable offense. The charges have not been proven in court. York Regional Police say they are working to determine if a shooting in Vaughan is connected to 3 other shootings that occurred in Toronto within the span of an hour on Thursday night. Toronto Police said the first shooting took place at around 9:04 p.m. at a bus shelter near Grand Ravine Drive and Jane Street north of Shepherd Avenue. A man in his 20s was found with a gunshot wound, police said. Toronto Paramedic Services said he was transported to hospital with minor injuries. Images from the scene showed shattered glass surrounded the bus shelter. It's not clear if the victim had been waiting for a bus at the time of the shooting. Police said they are looking for a grey SUV in connection with that incident. Less than half an hour later, shots rang out a short drive away in the Dixon Road and Kipling Avenue area. Multiple shell casings were found at the scene, and a man in his 20s later walked into hospital with a gunshot wound, police said. He was listed in stable condition. A black SUV was spotted fleeing the scene. A winter storm is arriving in Greater Toronto Area this evening, with some areas expected to see up to 25 centimeters of snow. Here's what you need to know about the timing of this snowstorm and what to watch out for. According to Environment and Climate Change Canada (ECCC), snow will begin falling in the GTA late afternoon or early evening. Strong southeasterly winds gusting up to 70 kilometers per hour are also in the forecast, which could significantly reduce visibility. Winter storm warnings have been issued for the northern regions of the GTA. Caledon, Newmarket, Uxbridge, and northern York and Durham regions could see 10 to 25 centimeters of snow. ECCC added 3 to 5 centimeters of snow could fall per hour. Portions of central and southwestern Ontario are also under a winter storm warning. Meanwhile, a winter weather advisory is in effect in Toronto and the remaining parts of the GTA, with 5 to 10 centimeters of snow expected to fall. The Federal Weather Agency said travel should be avoided if possible due to hazardous driving conditions. According to ECCC, some areas will see snow transition to periods of rain overnight or early Saturday morning. However, rain will change to periods of snow later in the morning as cold air sweeps in. In Toronto, local blowing snow is possible early Saturday afternoon as strong winds move in. The city could see an additional snowfall amount of 2 centimeters. Conditions are expected to improve in evening. Next week, temperatures are expected to drop below zero to a low of -7 Celsius on Tuesday. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Kubra Ali. I'll see you back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Until then, good night.